Greetings, friends. This is Eden, and welcome to another masterclass. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Eden Croft. I help aspiring beautypreneurs create or source their first natural beauty product or natural beauty product line and sell it profitably. Okay, so I wanted to do these master classes so we could go a little bit more in depth than a shorter video allows. I will have questions of the day that go kind of in depth into short little questions, but sometimes and this is a great way for people who can't afford to take my workshops or classes or do coaching with me to also learn and walk away with some real information. I really pride myself on giving people real information that they can actually use today and move forward. Moving forward. That's my motto. I want to see as many of you creating your own natural beauty businesses as possible. Okay, so today our master class is going to be on monthly subscriptions. Okay, this is a tremendous way to increase revenue and to streamline your workflow. I know you're probably thinking, streamline my workflow, that sounds like more work. Well, if you use the right tools, it is not. So in this video, we are going to do three things. The first thing is we're going to figure out what a successful subscription service looks like. Because you can create a subscription service that no one buys, or you can create one that is a total pain in the neck that causes you more stress than anything. Or you could have one that is organized, that allows you to bulk out your processes, that allows you to incorporate some level of automation so that there is less, pinging for you constantly on your phone or computer, or feeling stressed out by orders coming in at random times, right? We're also going to figure out the key to selling subscriptions successfully. Like, how do you actually encourage people to sign up for your subscriptions? Okay, how do you make that sale? There is a process that inspires people to use subscriptions because subscriptions create ease for your customer. But they only create ease after they understand why they're doing it, right? Because it's not just about saving money. It's not just about not having to order. There's a certain ease that has to be created in order for them to be incentivized to do this. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we implement that process, okay, in detail. And the next thing we're going to talk about after that, or rather the last thing, are some practical tools. So, I mean websites, that you can use to implement your subscription service seamlessly. Okay, so I do have a handy dandy PDF where I have a list of all those websites. So at this point, you can pause the video, you can go and get a pen and paper, and you can take notes furiously. You don't need to take them that furiously, honestly. I do speak quite slow, as you can probably already tell, and very clearly. But you won't remember all this when you decide to finally put it in place, and you don't want to have to go through the video again. So go get notes. If you do not want to get notes, if you want it all just delivered to you in a nice handy dandy PDF that my graphic designer is prettying up for us as I record this video, it'll be ready on Wednesday. So if you're watching this on Monday when the video gets released, it'll be ready on Wednesday and you should receive it in your email. But in order to receive it in your email, guess what you have to do? You have to subscribe to my email newsletter, and that's easy enough to do. Just go to prosperinbeauty.com. I'll put the link in the description box and you can sign up for my newsletter there and you can get the PDF. Otherwise, if you prefer not to do that, that's totally fine too. You can just enjoy the video and take some notes, like I said, or at least mark the video somehow. Maybe bookmark it in your browser so that you can come back to it when you're ready to implement the information. All right, so what does a successful subscription look like? Let's look at that for a minute. Okay, the first thing is repeat sales. If someone subscribes once and then they unsubscribe, yes, you did make a sale. Yes, you sold more than one product, and that's fine. Or you sold a jumbo size of a product, however you're doing your subscription. That's fine, and we celebrate every sale. We respect every dollar. We respect everyone who chooses to spend money with us. But the idea of subscription is recurring revenue, right? So we want a loyal customer who's gung-ho about the product. We want them to always want to do this. We want them to budget us in. Like, we want to be in their budget written, as a go-to person that they get their, face cream or hair care products from, their men's grooming, their baby care. We want to be that person. So a successful subscription looks like repeat sales. And what is it that creates repeat sales? First of all, your subscription has to make sense, doesn't it? You have to give people the right amount of product. Okay, so if I'm a single woman and you give me a subscription that gives me 8 ounces of face cream to use in 30 days, that is never going to work. I mean, unless I'm using that on my body or something, right? That's not a subscription that makes sense, right? But if you give me a 1 ounce face cream along with several other products, right? A face wash, a mister, a serum, and this, that, and the other, right? You give me a whole suite of facial products that you ship to me every 30 days in small quantities. That makes sense. Or if I'm a family and I want jumbo size everything, then maybe having half-gallon sizes of, body wash or hair cream or whatever, that or 32 ounces or 16 ounces, right? If I'm a family, maybe 30 days makes sense. If I'm an individual, maybe 90 days makes sense, right? I encourage you not to go longer than 90 days because people aren't going to remember. And so when they get your bill with the thing, they're going to be shocked. So 90 days is enough time for them to remember that they have a subscription with you, right? Whereas, 30 days is, I would say, the minimum amount of time you'd want to put between a subscription, because a lot of people will do their budgets monthly. Okay, and also just have varying sizes of subscriptions. So people who are buying for multiple members of a household can have larger quantities, either in terms of sizes or in terms of the number of products. Okay, because subscriptions don't have to be just a suite of products. It can be multiple items. So if you just have a 2 ounce oil, so instead of buying one, maybe they buy 4 at a time. That could be a subscription package too. So just know that, how your subscription package looks can vary. It just needs to make sense in terms of, giving the person a little bit more of a discount, so a money incentive for doing the subscription package, and the convenience of knowing that it's going to arrive on time. The next thing is you have to make sure that your person is fully educated on how to use or even customize the product. Is it an oil that they can do little DIY things, or that's multitasking? Is it, a serum or a mister that, varies in use based on whether your hair is thick or thin or curly, or if you wear your hair straight? Your customer has to know how to use these products, right? They really have to know how to use them. They have to know when to use them. They have to know why they're using them, right? So that is something you completely set up in education. So in your social media posts, a lot of people are focusing on selling. It's like, how many times can I see you say, buy my cream, buy my oil? I mean, you can only say that so many times before I start to tune you out. But if you tell me continually different ways in which I can use an oil, why an oil is different from a face cream, why does an oil matter, what are the things that you should look for in an oil? What are the things you should avoid in an oil? What makes your oil special? These are all different things, and even showing your processes if you're hand making things, showing you extracting your herbs, or unpacking your oils, or going on a rant about how maybe there is a shortage of something, or why, your product costs 5 times more because your ingredients cost 5 times more. For example, today I was sharing in my private Facebook group that organic glycerin costs, at the best provider, at least 4 to 5 times more than regular glycerin. But most people don't even know that there is an organic glycerin, right? And I didn't even realize that fully myself until today, So, there's a whole thing of glycerin that you can go into. But you want to create a culture around your brand. So the culture obviously is going to be around ingredients, around results, and also lifestyle culture. It's just like, what are bearded guys doing? How do bearded guys dress? Are these bearded, CEO type of guys? Are these bearded Wall Street guys? Are these bearded outdoors guys? What is the culture of your brand? These are all things that will help people understand how to use your product in various ways, and they help you also educate in fun ways where not every post is a seminar and super dry and boring, right? So you've got to, just soak people in the culture of your brand, and if it's something that resonates with them, they will subscribe to you in social media, in emails, and eventually they will subscribe to your packages if they can afford them. And if they can't, they're going to be a raving fan that tells other people about your brand. So your customer, like I said, is going to be in regular contact with you for product tips, right? How to use the product, how to make the product stretch, how to use it in cold weather versus humid weather, how to use it when traveling, all these different things, right? Lifestyle enhancing tips. So I said building a culture around your brand, right? So if your brand is all about being healthy and organic and natural, then you can talk about ways in which you're reducing plastic in your household, like if everything you have is packaged in glass for eco reasons. You can talk about things like, reducing plastic in your household. You can talk about minimalism. You can talk about all kinds of things. If yours is a children's brand, you can talk about building children's self-esteem. You can talk about how to find time for yourself as a parent who's running a business and maybe also has a job. You want lifestyle enhancing tips that the people in your niche would want. And I've gone on ad nauseum on finding a niche. So I'm not going to go into that here. But if you've been following me for a while, I'm always saying find a niche, create an avatar, and speak to that person all the time. If you don't know what lifestyle enhancing tips to give, it's because you haven't niched down or created an avatar. So you need to do that, and you can figure that out for free on YouTube. It'll take you a little while. You can do it. There's tons of classes and this and that you can take as well. You need to create a connection to your brand culture. And honestly, I think the best way to do that is when you have a product you believe in that you feel connected to by heart, and you're not just doing something because you think it's a money maker. and you put your heart and soul to it. And so you speak to people heart to heart. You create that heart to heart connection, and you build community and culture around your brand from a heartfelt place, with things that you're passionate about, and people can feel that, and people will get into that, and so all of that carries weight. It builds your product, your customer base, because raving fans are just as important as buyers. You want both, right? And people can be both, but not everyone is going to be a buyer, so just also have respect for people who are just there as fans, because a lot of times they spread the word for you, and if they aren't buying, it's maybe because they can't afford to, and that's okay too. You don't have to try to lower everything to make sure that everyone can buy it, that's a whole other story. I believe that the best way to make things affordable is either through DIY or teaching people how to DIY. That's the most sensible thing in terms of making it affordable if you can't afford to be a distributor. And most of us can't, okay? So just creating that connection to your brand culture is going to be vital. They also want to be in regular contact with you for new product updates, right? So whenever you're releasing new products, or you have maybe a new size in a popular product, or if you find out something new, or you have to replace an ingredient, or you can say now is free of such and such. If you decide to switch out your product, you discover that there's something in there that you would prefer not to be in there, because new discoveries are made in science all the time. So, or you just discover something that is equally harmless but just works way, way better, right? So you can talk about those things. Just keep your customer in the loop. Just don't make things so mysterious. The more open you are, the more loyal your customer is going to be, because you're going to be building trust, and those are the kind of people who buy subscriptions. So this is a really key thing. You can't make your person feel trapped or locked into your subscription. It has to be really easy to unsubscribe. There's nothing worse than being like on an email list where you try to unsubscribe and they have like 14 different pages just for you to unsubscribe. It should really be as simple as a click, or as simple as an email, and you remove them from the list and you take them off the recurring thing or something. Just make it as easy as possible for them to quit anytime. That way, if they're just quitting because they're going through a season where they need to reduce their expenses, they're saving for something else, for vacation or whatever, and then they'll come back to it, or maybe they were only doing it for a few months while they were at home with a newborn and they were just too busy to shop regularly, or they've outgrown the package. Sometimes maybe you had a bearded men's package and they now have a clean shaven face. So if you want, you can create an optional question of why they're opting out, or you can always follow up with all your unsubscribe and say, hey, why did you opt out of this? And if the gentleman says, hey, you know what, I shaved my beard, so I don't need this anymore, be like, oh, I have a great shaving cream and face wash and moisturizer that might actually work really well for you now. So it becomes an opportunity to sell them something else, or just to say, well, thank you so much for the time you spent with us and wishing you the best moving forward. Feel free to consider us for your future beauty needs, and call it a day. But just do not make it so hard for them to escape this, because maybe it didn't work for them, or maybe it's just not going to work for them right now. But people who feel trapped will go and leave all kinds of reviews about how they were trapped into not being able to leave. So people who were considering your trial, or people who were considering upgrading to subscription, become scared and then they don't do it, right? And then if that's happening, fear is just like, it's like this mysterious drop of poison in water. It just doesn't stay in one place. It's going to just spread everywhere. Then they're just going to start taking that mistrust. It's just like things that are unaddressed and that are kept secret, they just fester and grow. So you want to be really careful about that, which is why tools become important, because when you use the right tools, you can implement the steps to make sure that the unsubscribing process is seamless for your person. Okay. So yeah, those are all the factors that go into creating a successful subscription box. So what is the key to the success? Okay, funnels. Funnels, 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 funnels. And what is a funnel really? What is it? It's a guided customer journey. Okay, so it's from, I like to say it's from who are you to their desire to be sold. Okay, so you stumble upon something on social media, right? Somehow, either through a search or someone shares something, or maybe you have an ad and they stumble upon you and they're like, who is this person, or what is this brand, right? So you're going from that place all the way to the sale. Okay, and there's 3 places that you can go, right? And all of them are desirable. Okay, assuming that you're allowing the guided customer journey to be the thing that guides the person to the sale or to the exit. So your first option is they go from who are you, they enter your guided customer journey, and you create a sale, right? They go from who are you, they go through the guided customer journey, and what you create in them is a desire to be sold. So they want to buy your product, they want you to offer them something because everything that they encountered from you felt so good. They want to buy something from you, or you offer them something that they can buy, but they just can't afford it right now. So you go on their vision board, or in the wish list, a mental wish list, their Etsy wish list, their Amazon wish list, whatever. So you go on their wish list, but they are there in that area where they desire to be sold something by you. Okay, and then the third is they exit your community because you're just not their cup of tea, you're not their flavor of soda, whatever. And that is perfectly fine, because when we talk about morality and people feeling icky about sales, like I started talking about, sacred commerce and the merchant priesthood and so forth. If someone doesn't need your things, it shouldn't be your intention to sell to them. Even if they would buy it, you should never sell someone something that they don't need. It's immoral. That's my feeling. I know that's a very polarizing thing to say, but frankly, that's the deal. So if someone exits your community, maybe they don't agree with your brand values. Maybe you show a picture of your family at Pride, and they are very anti-Pride, or maybe you show a picture. You do something that offends them. But you deserve the freedom to be yourself, whatever that looks like, right? So, or you've created a product and it has an ingredient that they don't like, or they don't like your communication style, or something is up, or they just don't need the product. They go through your education process and realize that what they need is actually something completely different from what you offer. So you've given them the gift of not having to waste time, because now they know, okay, what I need to be looking for is this. And if you're doing your marketing correctly, they will still learn something from you that they can take moving forward. So they exit your community because what you have is not what they need, but you've done such a good job in your guided customer journey that when they encounter someone who needs what you sell, guess who they're going to refer that person to? Guess who? It's going to be you, obviously. And then also, you pay for people being on your YouTube subscriber list. If someone is a subscriber and they never watch your videos, or they never like your posts, or they never interact, they never open your emails, all of that is going to cost you money. It's going to cost you visibility in the algorithm, because then the algorithm will assume, oh, well, then they're not interested in your stuff. But it's just that, they're, being lazy, or they're just overwhelmed because we get so much stuff, right? So with emails, you pay for each subscriber that is on your list, right? So it's okay for people to leave if they're not interested. It actually is better for you. So be at peace with that. But the guided customer journey is going to make sure one of those three happens, instead of someone just coming to your site and being confused and then leaving. Because you think if they're confused, they're going to take the time to figure it out. No, they're not. People are busy, and people don't want to appear stupid, and people don't know how their questions are going to be received. People don't even know where to put the question because the site is so confusing. But when you have a guided customer journey in the form of a funnel, they know exactly where to go, because you pretty much tell them where to go step by step. Okay? So before I go into the 2 best books about funnels, let me just talk about, with a funnel, usually there's some kind of free thing that they see, and then they are then invited to go to a landing page or a squeeze page where there's an invitation to learn a little bit more. And in that squeeze page, you offer them something, whether it be a PDF of a cheat sheet that they can use for a grooming routine, for example, or top 10 things to avoid, or maybe it's a video or a series of videos showing them how to style their hair and use the product for a perfect wash and go. Maybe it's a webinar where you talk about the key things that are preventing them from having hydrated skin in the desert, and you bust some myths and you enlighten them on what they should be doing. And then, you say, okay, so if you want to upgrade to a package of products that, does this, blah, so your free thing should lead to an offer of a sale. And the first sale should be your package of products, right? And if they don't go for that, you already have their email, and hopefully they're subscribed to you in social media, so you can continue to talk to them, and eventually maybe they will buy the package. In a more sophisticated funnel, you'd be able to offer them before they leave, when they click off, okay, you don't want the package, do you want to just get this one product? This one product out of all of these will be the one that'll give you immediate, most tangible results. And if you got just that one product, you'll see a great change, and then maybe you'll feel inspired to try our package another time. So those are all things you can do in your funnel. Okay, so one of the best books ever about funnels ever written, ever, he could sell this book for $29, $39, and it would be totally worth it. Is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. He actually has 2 books, and I'll go into the other book later. But Expert Secrets and the other book, .com Secrets, both of those really, really, really teach you about funnels. And they are so thorough that, even if you only implemented 3 or 4 pages at a time, and it's a normal size book, I don't know if you can see me on the little camera, but I have Expert Secrets right here. So you can see it's a normal size book. It's about 250 pages or so. Normal print, just chock full of information. So there's so many things in there about building a culture, about creating funnels, about what should go in your funnels, about what should go in your emails, about all the little bits and pieces he calls indoctrination pages that are between each part of there's just so much. And he has a software that he sells, which is really, the purpose of these books is so that he can inspire you to upgrade to his software for creating funnels. But he's done it in a great way because, the book is really inexpensive. It covers his costs for advertising, so his cost to acquire a customer is really low. But the incentive of the customer to buy is really high. So this is a perfect example of a funnel that he's created with these fantastic books. A funnel is also going to build your email list. Now listen, I am celebrating reaching 4,000 subscribers over the last few days. And, I do not own YouTube. So at any point, YouTube could shut my channel down and all 4,000 subscribers could go. But at the time of recording this, I have about close to 1,700 people on my email list. So that's 1,700 people on my email list. And I have about 400 and some change on my Facebook, and I don't know, maybe about 100 Twitter followers. So clearly, any of those social platforms could kick me off at any point, but I still have my email list. If I had to start from scratch, if I shut down my website and I disappeared for a while and I came back, I would still have my email list. So email list is currency, guys. And you don't have to have a huge list to make a lot of sales. You just have to have a properly curated and engaged list. And when you create a funnel, that's one way of creating an engaged list, because these are people who've opted in for the value that you provide, right? So email list is security, email list is currency, and granted, even with email rates being as low as they are, rather email open rates, so you're looking at 10, if you're really good, 30%, so maybe 10% open rates, and if you're selling to the right people and you have the right product, then maybe 10% of those people will buy. But as you can see, if you were able to sell 10 packages for $49 or for $100, that's $1,000 in an email, right? That might be going out once a week or twice a month or whatever. So you really need to work on building your email list. It's a great way to just add more content, maybe be more personable. It's just another avenue in which you can build your brand culture, and also that you can create sales and also just have a guaranteed source of income if everything else goes away. Okay, so info pages, Russell Brunson likes to call them indoctrination pages, but like I said before, your funnel is gonna go to some kind of a lead magnet that you advertise on a squeeze page or a landing page where you offer someone something free that's of value, that's informative, that teaches them how to take care of themselves physically with or without your product. It could even be inner beauty rituals. It doesn't even have to be about physical things. It can be, how to create a beautiful ritual for yourself for self-care, to make that process, or how to create a nice environment for doing your child's hair so there's less screaming and fighting about it. There's all kinds of things you can do. And then a sales page, this is the page where you're going to offer the subscription. Okay, so there are a lot of templates for doing stuff like this. We'll talk about tools a little later. But this is where you want to set up a system. So I've talked in detail on Facebook and probably here too on YouTube. You want to have a signature routine that's associated with your brand or with your product line. There are very high-end Korean beauty spas that sell millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars really, annually. And all they ever talk about is their routine. They never sell the product. People automatically end up buying the product or using the product, but all they talk about is the routine. Okay, so you have to have a signature routine that you continually want to iterate, and that should definitely be on the sales page. And then, maybe a little bit about just the quality of ingredients that you've curated to make sure that you take care of all the needs of your niche. And then the wonderful package that complements the routine you talked about earlier, that you are now getting at a discount, and that you never have to worry about shopping with us again. It'll automatically show up on your doorstep every 30 days, every 60 days, every 90 days, whatever you check off, right? So sales pages are also a great way to make sure that you get that subscription, because you can just put a subscription option on your website, without a sales page, but it's harder to sell. People might click on it, but they won't really fully understand the value. So sales pages communicate the value of why they should upgrade. Okay, so we've talked about building a culture around your products. Obviously, emails is the way to do it. Social posts is the way to do it. Posts and videos and surveys and lives and all of those things. Chatbots are a very interesting thing that have emerged over the past few years, and their open rates tend to be 70 to 90%, which is really, really huge considering that email is 10 to 30. Again, chatbots is not something that you own, but chatbots do help people see your posts in social media because they beat the algorithm. So the chatbot rate is 70 to 90%. The chance of someone seeing your Facebook posts could be like 5%. That's just seeing it. And that's assuming that they've liked it. I mean, there's just so many things that go into the algorithm on social media, because Facebook wants you to pay to advertise so that your things can be seen. Right, so chatbots, you can send someone to a post, you can send them to different sites, you can communicate with them, you can also do abandoned cart notices. You can do all kinds of things with chatbots, and people generally prefer chatbots to emails because the way it comes into your field, it's like you're getting a text message from a friend. It seems kind of non-intrusive because we're so used to text now. So people tend to respond better to chatbots. So even if you do have an email list, a chatbot is worth implementing. I'll be implementing mine this week and sharing that with my coaching students, like how I did it and the response and so forth. So you definitely want to look at chatbots. You also want to look at text messaging. Apparently that's emerging, and with chatbots, with text messages, you can also create freebie incentives. Where with chatbots, you can just say to a person, hey, if you respond, just type, skincare in the comments, and it'll automatically sign you up for my messages and will deliver the PDF or the video to you. Text messages, you can do the same thing. I haven't gotten into text messages, and I don't really sign up for text messages because I don't know, text messages stress me out a little bit more. But it's a thing that you can do. So let's go to the tools section. Let's talk about practical tools. So one way that you can create subscriptions, let's see. One of the things is people don't always know what people want in a product because they haven't done the research properly. So let's just say let's assume you've done the research for your niche. You should know exactly what people want. But another great way to know what people want, or how to adjust your offerings according to what people want, is phone calls. Any business I start, I try to do at least 40 phone calls with real human beings, because people will divulge in a phone call things that they won't say in an email, things that they won't respond to in a survey, things that they won't say on social media. There's something about a phone call that creates connection. Just that human voice inspires trust. So have phone calls where you offer to coach people on skincare or hair care. And obviously they need to be short, like 10 to 15 minutes, and say, hey, what problem are you having with your child's hair that I can help you with? What problem are you having with beard growth that's just driving you crazy? Get on the phone with me for 10 minutes and I'll sort you out. And you really have to help them with or without your product. Give them practical tips. They're more likely to buy a subscription after they've spoken to you on the phone. But also know that even if they don't, you've gained something valuable because you've generated trust. You've helped someone, which is good on a karmic and spiritual level. But also you've understood your people a little bit more. That understanding you can't underestimate, because from that understanding you're going to get all kinds of ideas for social posts, for new products, for improving existing products, for which products need to have a larger size, and all of the things, which products need to go away. Those are all things you will learn from the phone call. So of course you can encourage people to DM you to schedule a call. This is the basic level. If you really can't afford any tools, ask them to DM you, and just put it on your calendar, and then just call them at the appointed times with the appointed numbers they give you. That's going to be a little bit more work on your end. And then, assuming that they want a subscription package, you can then encourage them to just, put in an order. You send them a link to the page on your website or on your Etsy store, wherever, that has all the products, right? And then they buy it there, or you just kind of do a Cash App, whatever you do, you sort it out in your DMs. And then on an Excel spreadsheet, you put names, addresses, and you just put a date. So if you have lots of people, I would do one shipment date on the 1st of the month, and then a second shipment date on the 15th of the month. So that way you're not stuck on the 1st of the month or on the 30th or the 31st, just stressed out of your gourd trying to deliver 30 packages to have them go out on the 1st. So for people with lots of customers, or even if you don't have lots of customers, if someone orders something on the 10th, they're more likely to be excited about getting it shipped out on the 15th, as opposed to the 1st, which would be 3 weeks from then, right? So having 2 dates is good. If you're small-ish, and then or if you're medium size. But if everything is automated, maybe just have one date and let that date be the 1st. Okay, so your Excel spreadsheet, which is also free, can help you figure that out, right? But listen, we like tools, and it's just easy. Everyone has to start from somewhere. So if you're at a place where you're just figuring out the packaging and the ingredients is stressful enough, then maybe just do the basic level. If you're ready to go bigger, I would invest in Acuity Scheduling or Calendly, right? So acuityscheduling.com or calendly.com, and either of those is a great phone scheduling app. It'll send reminders to you. It'll send reminders to your person. It'll take their phone number. It'll adjust for time differences. For those of you that are in countries where there's multiple time zones, like where I am in the United States, we have 3 or 4 different time zones depending on the year, time of year rather. So all of those things will be accounted for when you do a scheduling app, and it also just looks a little more professional. People are more likely to schedule themselves in those apps, and it'll show 10-15 minutes, and there's privacy and all of those things. And you could have an issue with people flaking, and sometimes people flake because they forgot. So those little reminders are really helpful that these softwares send out. And sometimes people flake out because it just seems loosey-goosey, when you've just done it in the DMs. So just increase the show up rate so you waste less time. But I would schedule these for times when you would be working anyway, so you're not just hanging around waiting for phone calls. So Etsy Plus. This is, Etsy obviously is free in the sense that you can just set up your shop for free, and then you only get charged anytime you sell something. And some people like to complain and bicker about the prices, but unless you're selling something for 5 cents, who cares? They've helped you make a sale and it's free traffic. Just go on Etsy if you're starting out, if you don't know how to do it. Etsy Plus, which is $10 a month, allows you to sell subscription packages, right? So these can be automatic packages that people can get. The only issue with Etsy Plus, I think, is that you don't own an email list. So you can build a clientele, but if your Etsy shop gets shut down, you don't really have a way to contact those other people, So, just find ways of maybe including a business card that has your website on it. So maybe eventually people find your other landing pages, because you're not allowed to solicit necessarily, but there's nothing against you creating things on your packaging or in your inserts inside that have your website on them, right? And that becomes a way to funnel people into your funnel, okay? Because if they go on your website, there should be calls to action that lead them to that landing page where they sign up for your newsletter and go through your sales funnel. So Amazon Subscribe and Save. Okay, so you can sell things on Amazon. If you want to sell subscription package, you can sell a package of products on Amazon, right? And then when the order comes in, you just ship it yourself. But if you want to do a subscription package on Amazon, the only way I know to do it currently is Subscribe and Save. And what's nice about Subscribe and Save is that it gives people timing options. So whether they want to do 1 month or 3 months or 6 months, it lets them decide that. And they can have control of that. And so many people in the United States, possibly in the United Kingdom and Australia too, are on Amazon and have Amazon Prime. So if you want to sell, be part of Amazon Subscribe and Save, you have to be part of their Prime. So you don't have to necessarily be a Prime member, but you have to be featured on Amazon Prime, right? So to be featured on Amazon Prime, it is absolutely vital that you sign up for Fulfilled by Amazon, which means that Amazon stores the product in one of their warehouses and they ship it when the order comes in. Or else they can't guarantee that 2-day shipping that Prime offers that people love so much, or the free shipping, right, that people love so much from Prime. So in order to qualify for that, you have to get an Amazon barcode, right? So you get an Amazon barcode. You can just buy that online. Just Google buy Amazon barcode and a whole bunch of sites will come up. You buy your barcode and you put it on your package. Okay, so you'll have to individually pack each box with the 3 or 4 products that are going in your subscription box, right? And then that box needs to have a barcode on it, right? So that the person who's going through the warehouse in his little truck or whatever can just go beep beep with his scanner and put it in the cart. So I also suspect that you will need to have another barcode for each product that is in the box. So that's another thing. You'll have to double check that, but I know for sure you'll need to have everything packaged and ready to go that's in the subscription. And you will also need a barcode for each product that's on the box, because you'll probably be selling those in addition to the subscription, right? And to do all that, all you need to do is go to the seller information tab on Amazon. Just click seller or become a seller, and it'll just walk you through all those processes. It's quite user-friendly and easy. All right, Shopify. Oh, one thing I forgot to say about Amazon is that if you're going to manufacturing with your product, your manufacturer should be able to put the barcode on your product and ship it to Amazon. Okay. So Shopify. Shopify obviously is a powerhouse selling platform. And if you want to create subscription packages, it doesn't automatically come with Shopify. You have to integrate one of their apps to do so. And so the main app that I would recommend would be the main apps that I would recommend for subscription packages specifically are Recharge It. So you'll go to Recharge. I've forgotten what it is, but it's in the PDF more specifically. But if you just look up Recharge subscriptions, right, in Google, it'll take you directly to the Recharge website. Bold is another one. If you look up Bold recurring subscriptions or something like that, that's another app, right, in the Shopify store. And even if you went to the shopify.com//apps, you could just do a search on that page for subscription apps, and it'll give you a whole list. But the top ones that show up repeatedly everywhere are Recharge, Bold, and Spur IT, right? So all of those things will help you integrate a subscription package in Shopify, where you're notified monthly that a subscription needs to go out and so forth. Okay. Zipify Pages. Zipify is made specifically for Shopify, and it was actually made by someone who sells beauty products, so that's kind of an interesting thing to know. But Zipify Pages will help you create sales pages and landing pages. They also have another app called One Click Upsell, in which you can, someone can buy, let's just say they buy a hyaluronic hydrating serum for the face, and then there can be a one-click upsell button next to that where they can buy the whole line, where they buy a face wash, the serum that they just bought, a face oil and a face cream, or a toner and a cream, or whatever. Just giving an example, right? One-click upsell, and you can do that. So that's always, a bonus. So you could do one-click upsell if you want them to just try the package one time, and then when you ship it, you give them the option to upgrade to a subscription, or you send them an email afterwards that says, hey, I noticed you bought the package. If you love it, here's an opportunity to just subscribe and save. Okay, so Zipify is one way to do it. And you could always use Zipify with one of the other apps that I mentioned here before. On Shopify. So you could do both those. You could just do Zipify on its own, and then just kind of in other ways, integrate subscription packages. ClickFunnels. Okay, I'm just going to take a sip of water here. So ClickFunnels is the brainchild of Russell Brunson, and it is just an amazing thing. I've started tinkering with it for just my information products. I definitely will be using it for my physical products as my line rolls out this year, and it just pretty much does everything. It's expensive, But if you're selling, I would say at least $500 a month, it's definitely something you should consider, because it's $97 a month. But at that 97, you eliminate so many other things. So the upgraded version, which is $297 a month, includes email, right? And the basic version allows you to integrate any other email service that you're using, right? It has landing pages, it has indoctrination pages, it has sales pages, it's a drag and drop user-friendly tech. It has upsell and downsell pages. It's customizable with your brand colors. They give tons and tons of training so you know how to use it. They have a community so you can have people who can help you build it. And they give you a free domain for the first year. And it does e-commerce and info products. So it's just a perfect all-around business tool. So that's the presentation for subscriptions. I hope that you're at least considering a subscription. At the very least, at least consider having a package. Okay? And let's just say you don't have more than one product. Let's just say right now all you have is a 2-ounce oil. People will upsell to buying 3. They'll buy 3 of the 2-ounce oils for a 20% discount. Maybe they use a lot of it. Maybe there's a lot in their family. Maybe you're selling it as a face oil, but they use it on their whole body. So yeah, there are plenty of people who will buy a subscription package to multiples of the same thing. So that's one thing to consider if you just have one product. And have larger size options, okay? Especially for the higher end. If you look at all the higher end cosmetic places, whether it be like Kiehl's or Aveda or I don't know, some of the more la-di-da type of places for hair and skin, they have jumbo size. So there are just certain people who only buy a certain quality product. They're totally okay with spending $28 for an 8-ounce shampoo or conditioner. So if they can buy, a liter size or a half gallon for $60, they're willing to do that. Okay? So you could have one product, but you could just have bigger and bigger and bigger sizes. So that's a subscription model where, you'd be like, okay, so, buy those other things that you take 3 months to use as you need them. But I know you're going through tons of conditioner. Here's a half gallon conditioner or a 32-ounce conditioner that you can use every month or every 2 months. So larger size options make great subscription options. Okay. And not everyone is into tech. Sometimes the tech scares people. Outsource it, okay? Because if you're going to spend that much on the tools, it's okay to spend the $100 or $200 or $300 to have someone on Fiverr or someone on Upwork just implement it for you. Because if that's the only reason you're not moving forward with it, then it's not worth it to just linger on it. Just spend the money once and get it done. However, just make sure that you know how to make changes. So have them walk you through making changes in the software so that you're easily able to update your pages on your own. And also know that just because you've outsourced the tech, it does not mean that you can outsource the strategy. Okay, so that means you still have to do your research. You still have to try to get 30 to 40 people on the phone. You still have to, create a regimen around your product line. You still have to niche. You still have to do all kinds of things in order to know what to put in the sales pages. So even if they're constructing them for you physically, in the ethers, on a computer, you still have to be able to tell them what to put on those pages in order for your funnel to work. Okay, so that part is inescapable. And if you love this business, I'm really into encouraging people to follow their divine blueprint. If you're wanting to do beauty products as a get rich quick scheme, then you aren't going to enjoy much of my content, right? Because I go deep into it, I'm passionate about it. And I'd like to help other people who are passionate about it move forward. So if you love this, then none of those things will be that painful for you. You may procrastinate, you may have fears, we all have them, right? But eventually, the process of finding out what people need and implementing it on a certain level is going to be fun. And when you are living your passion, you're living so close to your core frequency, to just the reason you were put here on earth. Obviously there's going to be multiple reasons. Maybe you're a parent and a daughter and a friend, and all of our primary reason, in my belief, is that, to know God, as my spiritual teacher would say, is, our primary purpose, but then we also have a smaller purpose, which is the work we do here in the world, and the service we give to one another as humans. And if you love this and you are doing this work on a daily basis, you are raising your vibration to a very high frequency, and that's good for you. It's good for you spiritually, it's good for your health. In the long run, it'll be good for your income, and it's of great service to humanity. Okay, so if you really hate everything, then maybe you should consider, other things. But if you love those things, making sure that you research what people need and you're getting the best ingredients and all of that shouldn't be painful. It should be a joyous adventure. All right. So, that's the tech. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe. And if you super liked it, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you don't want to miss another video, you can hit the notification bell, which is right next to the subscribe. After you've subscribed, the notification bell appears. Just hit that and then you'll be notified, or it'll show up in your stream anytime I have a new video for you. And please consider sharing this with another product selling entrepreneur. Again, I have that handy dandy PDF of tools at prosperinbeauty.com. Yes, that does lead you to my sales funnel. But regardless, when you get that PDF, you also get a library of a whole bunch of other resources and classes that are only for my email subscribers. So you really come up when you join my email list in terms of the number of free things that are available to you, whether you buy from me or not, because I want to create a community of passionate beautypreneurs. All right, because that's part of my soul contracts to do. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. Peace and blessings, and I hope you have a wonderful day or evening. And comment below if you learned anything from this, what other kind of classes you'd like to see from me in the future, any questions you have, any feedback you have. And I just hope that whatever you do, you just keep moving forward. All right, take care. Love you guys.